The Paramount Event Center glowed with string lights and holiday decorations, transforming the modern venue into something magical. Aria Thompson stood near the bar, nursing a cosmopolitan and watching her co-workers celebrate the end of another successful year at Nexus Tech Solutions. At 26, she'd built a solid reputation as their most creative graphic designer, but tonight she felt oddly disconnected from the festivities. "You look like you're planning an escape route," a familiar voice said beside her. Aria smiled without turning. She'd recognize Marcus Reed's voice anywhere after 7 years of friendship. "Just people watching. You know I'm not great at these corporate things." Marcus appeared in her peripheral vision, tall and lean in a charcoal suit that made his dark skin look even richer. His warm brown eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled, the way they always did. "Neither am I, but free food and open bar make it tolerable." They'd met during their senior year at UT Austin, assigned as partners for a joint computer science and design project. Their collaboration had been seamless, their friendship even more so. After graduation, they'd both ended up at Nexus, sharing an apartment to save money, becoming the kind of friends who finished each other's sentences and could communicate entire conversations with a single glance. "How's the whiskey?" Aria asked, nodding at his glass. "Overpriced and mediocre, but it's doing its job." Marcus leaned against the bar beside her. "Have you seen the dessert table? They have those little cheesecake bites you love." Of course he remembered her favorite dessert. Marcus remembered everything about her, from her coffee order to the specific shade of blue she preferred for design projects. It was one of the 1,000 small things that made their friendship work so effortlessly. "I'll check it out later," Aria said. "Right now I'm enjoying the view of Brad from accounting trying to flirt with the new intern. It's like watching a baby giraffe learn to walk." Marcus laughed, the sound rich and genuine. Aria loved his laugh, always had. It made her feel warm and safe, like coming home after a long trip. "Aria." "Marcus." A voice cut through the music, sugary sweet and venomous. "I didn't expect to see you two here together." "Oh wait, yes I did. You're always together, aren't you?" Aria's stomach sank. Vanessa Chen approached them in a crimson dress that probably cost more than Aria's monthly rent, her perfectly straightened black hair swinging as she walked. Behind her, a man in an expensive suit followed like a trophy being displayed. Vanessa was Marcus's ex-girlfriend from 2 years ago, a relationship that had ended badly when she'd cheated on him with a venture capitalist. She'd tried to come back to Marcus multiple times, unable to accept that he'd moved on. Her presence at company events was always awkward since she worked for one of Nexus's partner firms. "Hello, Vanessa," Marcus said evenly, his posture stiffening slightly. "Marcus, darling, you look well. Still single, I see?" Vanessa's smile was predatory. "This is Christopher, my fiancé." "Christopher, this is Marcus, my ex-boyfriend, and his friend? Roommate? I can never remember what you two are exactly." "Best friends," Aria said firmly, her protective instincts flaring. She'd watched Vanessa manipulate and belittle Marcus during their relationship, slowly eroding his confidence. Aria had celebrated privately when they'd finally broken up. "Best friends," Vanessa repeated, her tone suggesting something pathetic about the label. "How sweet. Still clinging to each other because you can't find actual relationships." "Marcus, I always told you that your little friendship with Aria was unhealthy. No woman wants to compete with another girl for attention." "Vanessa," Christopher said uncomfortably, clearly sensing the tension. But Vanessa was just warming up. "It's been 2 years, Marcus. 2 years and you're still single, still living with your girl best friend like you're in college. Don't you think it's time to grow up? To find someone actually significant instead of this, whatever this codependent situation is?" Aria felt Marcus tense beside her, saw the flash of hurt in his eyes before he masked it. Something fierce and protective surged through her chest. For 7 years, she'd watched Marcus date women who didn't appreciate him, who didn't see how brilliant and kind and funny he was. She'd supported him through breakups, celebrated his victories, been his constant when everything else changed. And she was tired of Vanessa making him feel small. Actually, Arya heard herself say, turning to face Marcus, "We're together now. Have been for a while. We just kept it private." Marcus's eyes widened in shock, but before he could respond, before she could second-guess herself, Arya rose on her toes and kissed him. It was supposed to be quick, a brief press of lips to sell the lie. But the moment their mouths connected, something electric shot through her. Marcus made a small sound of surprise, then his hand came up to cup her face, and he kissed her back. Really kissed her. His lips were soft but firm, moving against hers with a hunger that felt like it had been building for years. Arya's hands found his lapels, pulling him closer, and she felt his other arm wrap around her waist. The kiss deepened, his tongue tracing her lower lip in a question she answered by opening to him. The party disappeared. The music, the people, Vanessa's shocked gasp, all of it faded into background noise. There was only Marcus, only the taste of whiskey on his tongue, only the feeling of his heart racing against her palm where it rested on his chest, only the rightness of being in his arms like she'd been made to fit there. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Arya's mind was reeling. That wasn't supposed to happen. That intensity, that connection, that feeling like kissing Marcus was the most natural thing in the world, none of that was supposed to happen. She looked up at him and saw her own shock reflected in his eyes, along with something else. Something heated and wondering and terrified. "Well," Vanessa's voice was ice, "I suppose congratulations are in order. Though I have to wonder how long this has really been going on. Convenient timing, don't you think, Christopher?" But Arya barely heard her. She was still staring at Marcus, at the way his thumb was unconsciously stroking her waist where his hand had landed, at the way he was looking at her like he'd never really seen her before. "We should go," Marcus said quietly, his voice rough. His eyes never left Arya's face. "This party is getting old." Arya nodded, unable to form words. Marcus took her hand, when had their hands become linked, and led her through the crowd toward the exit. She was aware of curious stares, of whispers starting to spread, but none of it mattered compared to the warmth of his palm against hers and the way her lips still tingled from his kiss. They made it to Marcus's car in the parking garage before either of them spoke. "Arya," Marcus said, leaning against the driver's door, his expression unreadable. "What the hell just happened?" "I kissed you," she said stupidly. "To shut Vanessa up. To defend you. She was being horrible, and I couldn't stand it, and I just reacted. That wasn't just a kiss to shut someone up." His voice was low, intense. "Arya, that was. I know." She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly cold despite the warm Texas night. "I know. I didn't mean for it to be like that. It was supposed to be fake, just for show, but then. It felt real," Marcus finished. He pushed off from the car, taking a step toward her. "It felt really real." Arya's heart hammered against her ribs. "Marcus, we've been best friends for 7 years. We shouldn't." "Why not?" The question hung between them, simple and impossible. "Because," Arya said desperately, "because if we try this and it doesn't work, we lose everything. Our friendship, our living situation, our work dynamic. Everything we've built. I can't lose you, Marcus. You're the most important person in my life." He moved closer, close enough that she could feel his warmth. "And what if it does work? What if that kiss wasn't a fluke? What if we've been missing something obvious because we were too scared to look?" "Were you scared?" Arya whispered. "Before tonight, did you ever think about?" "Yes." The admission was raw, honest. "God, Arya, yes. For years. But I convinced myself I was imagining it, that you could never see me that way, that risking our friendship would be the stupidest thing I could do. Arya felt tears prickling her eyes. I convinced myself of the same thing. That the way I felt about you was just friendship, just platonic love, because anything else was too dangerous to consider. They stared at each other in the dim parking garage, 7 years of careful boundaries crumbling between them. So what do we do now? Marcus asked. Arya looked up at him, at the man who knew her better than anyone, who made her laugh and challenged her and stood by her through everything. The man she'd just kissed and felt the entire world shift beneath her feet. I have no idea, she admitted. But I think we just changed everything. Marcus smiled, that beautiful warm smile that had been lighting up her days for 7 years. Yeah, he agreed softly. I think we did. He reached out, tucking a strand of her dark hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering against her cheek. The touch sent shivers through her, gentle and electric and full of possibility. Can I kiss you again? He asked. For real this time, not for show, just because I want to. Arya's answer was to close the distance between them, to press her lips to his and feel him smile against her mouth. This kiss was different from the first, slower, deeper, exploratory. Like they were learning each other in a. Arya. That night, she and Marcus had their first real fight about what to do next. Maybe we should take a break, Arya suggested. Let things cool down at work. Absolutely not. Marcus's voice was hard. We're not letting Vanessa win. We're not hiding like we're ashamed. I'm not ashamed, Arya shot back. I'm practical. Our relationship is hurting both our careers. Our relationship is exposing people's prejudices, Marcus corrected. There's a difference. Arya, I'm not giving you up because people are gossiping. I love you. I've loved you for years, and I'm not going back to pretending I don't. His declaration took the fight out of her. I love you too, she whispered. I'm just scared. Me too, Marcus pulled her into his arms. But we face this together. No more hiding, no more apologizing. We tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. Completely new language. When they finally broke apart, both smiling and slightly dazed, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. This is going to complicate everything, he murmured. I know, Arya replied. We work together. We live together. Everyone we know will have opinions. I know. We could be making a huge mistake. I know. Arya pulled back enough to look into his eyes. But Marcus, that kiss felt more right than anything I've ever experienced. I'm terrified, but I'm also excited. Maybe we've been playing it safe for too long. His smile was brilliant. Maybe we have. They stood there in the parking garage, holding each other, the weight of 7 years of friendship transforming into something new. Something scary and thrilling and inevitable. Arya thought about the fake kiss that had become devastatingly real. About Vanessa's cruel words that had pushed her past caution. About the way Marcus looked at her now, like she was precious and desired and exactly where he wanted to be. Everything had changed in an instant. And despite her fear, despite the unknowns ahead, Arya couldn't bring herself to regret it. Arya woke to sunlight streaming through her bedroom window and the immediate, crushing memory of kissing Marcus. She groaned, pulling her pillow over her face. What had she done? 7 years of friendship potentially destroyed because she couldn't control herself at a company party. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, we need to talk. Coffee? They met at their usual cafe, a quirky place near their apartment that served the best lattes in Austin. Marcus was already there, looking tired and uncertain in worn jeans and a faded university t-shirt. The casual clothes made him look younger, vulnerable in ways his work attire never did. Hi, Arya said, sliding into the booth across from him. Hi. Marcus pushed a latte toward her, hazelnut with extra foam, exactly how she liked it. I didn't sleep much. Me neither. Arya wrapped her hands around the warm cup. Marcus, about last night. I need to tell you something. He leaned forward, his dark eyes intense. That kiss wasn't a surprise to me. I mean, the timing was, but the feelings weren't. Arya, I've been in love with you for 3 years. The confession hit her like a physical blow. 3 years? Since that weekend we drove to New Orleans for your cousin's wedding. You wore that blue dress, and we danced at the reception, and I remember thinking that I could spend my entire life making you laugh like that. His voice was rough with emotion. But you were dating that photographer, and I convinced myself I'd missed my chance. That I should be grateful to be your friend instead of risking everything. Arya felt tears threatening. I broke up with him 2 months later because he wasn't you. Because every time he touched me, I wished it was your hand. Every time he made me laugh, I wished it was your joke. She took a shaky breath. Marcus, I've been lying to myself for so long, telling myself these feelings were just friendship, just admiration, anything but what they actually were. Which is? His hand found hers across the table. Love, Arya whispered. I love you. I've loved you, and I've been terrified of it. Marcus smiled, brilliant and relieved. So we're both idiots who wasted years being scared. Monumental idiots, Arya agreed, laughing through tears. They were interrupted by their server, a purple-skinned Andromedian woman named Zephyr who'd been working at the cafe since they started coming here. Her silver eyes studied them with knowing amusement. You two finally figured it out, Zephyr said, refilling their water glasses. Andromedians can sense emotional bonds. You've been radiating compatible pheromones for years. It was painful watching humans deny what was obvious to anyone with proper sensory perception. Arya and Marcus both laughed, the tension breaking. Thanks, Zephyr, Marcus said. Don't thank me yet, Zephyr replied. Human relationships are complicated by your need for verbal confirmation of every feeling. Just accept you're compatible and stop overthinking. We Andromedians identify our mates and bond. Much more efficient. After she left, Marcus squeezed Arya's hand. So what do we do? Jump into this? Take it slow? I don't know. Arya bit her lip. But I know I want to try. Carefully, privately, until we're sure this works. We can't let everyone at work know immediately, the gossip would be unbearable. Agreed. Marcus's thumb traced circles on her palm. Let's keep this between us for now. Figure out what we are before dealing with everyone else's opinions. They sealed the agreement with a kiss across the table, sweet and promising. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. Over the next 6 weeks, Arya and Marcus developed a double life. At work, they maintained their usual friendship, careful not to touch too much, not to let their gazes linger. But at home, they explored this new dimension of their relationship with cautious joy. Their first real date was to the movies, something normal and safe. But sitting in the dark theater, Marcus's arm around her shoulders and her head against his chest, felt revolutionary. Afterward, they drove to their favorite taco truck and talked until 3 in the morning about everything, their fears about changing their friendship, their hopes for this relationship, their shared history that felt different now under this new light. I keep finding memories and reinterpreting them, Arya admitted, stealing one of his French fries. Like that time you brought me soup when I had the flu. Or when you punched that guy at the bar who wouldn't leave me alone. Were those friend things or something more? Both, Marcus said. I loved you as my friend and wanted more. Those feelings coexisted for so long I stopped trying to separate them. Their first time sleeping together happened naturally, 3 weeks into their secret relationship. They'd been watching a documentary, curled together on Marcus's bed as they often did, when a casual kiss deepened into something more urgent. Are you sure? Marcus asked, his voice rough, his hand trembling slightly as it cupped her face. I've never been more sure of anything, Arya whispered. Making love with Marcus felt like coming home and diving into the unknown simultaneously. He touched her with reverence and passion, like she was precious and desired in equal measure. Arya learned the taste of his skin, the sounds he made when she kissed his neck, the way his hands felt discovering every curve of her body. Afterward, wrapped in his arms in the darkness, Arya felt peace settle into her bones. "This is real," she said softly. "This is actually happening." "Best fake kiss of my life," Marcus murmured against her hair, making her laugh. But secrets in small workplaces never lasted long. Arya's friend Simone, a fellow designer, cornered her in the break room one afternoon. "You're glowing," Simone said suspiciously. "And you and Marcus have been disappearing at lunch together every day. What's going on?" "Nothing," Arya lied, but her blush betrayed her. "Oh my God." Simone's eyes widened. "You're sleeping with him. You and Marcus finally happened." "Shoo." Arya glanced around frantically. "It's new and private and complicated. Please don't tell anyone." "Your secret's safe with me," Simone promised. "But Arya, everyone's going to figure it out eventually. You two look at each other like the sun rises and sets in each other's eyes." The warning proved prophetic. 2 days later, Arya received an email from HR requesting a meeting. Her stomach dropped. Had someone reported them? Were workplace relationships against policy? The meeting was worse than she'd imagined. Vanessa had filed an anonymous complaint suggesting Arya and Marcus's relationship constituted a conflict of interest, that Arya's recent promotion to senior designer might have been influenced by their involvement. "I earned that promotion," Arya said firmly to the HR director, a kind man named Robert. "My portfolio and performance reviews speak for themselves." "I believe you," Robert assured her. "But we need to investigate. It's company policy." "Are you and Marcus in a relationship?" Arya took a breath. "Yes. For about 6 weeks. But it didn't influence my promotion, that happened before we got together." "Actually," Robert consulted his notes, "your promotion was announced the week after the holiday party. The timing could appear suspicious to outsiders." Horror washed over Arya. Her achievement, something she'd worked years for, was now being questioned because of Vanessa's vindictiveness. Marcus was furious when she told him that evening. "This is bullshit. You earned that promotion. Everyone knows you're the best designer we have." "But now people will wonder," Arya said, fighting tears. "They'll think I slept my way to success. That everything I've accomplished is because of you." "Then we fight back," Marcus said fiercely. "We show them every project you've led, every client who specifically requested you, every innovation you've brought to the company. We prove this is vindictive nonsense." But as gossip spread through the office, Arya felt her reputation crumbling. Co-workers who'd congratulated her on the promotion now looked at her with speculation. Even some of her friends seemed uncertain. The only bright spot was Zephyr, who sought Arya out during lunch. "Humans are exhausting with your judgment," the Andromedian said. "On my planet, competence and personal bonding are completely separate considerations. You're skilled at your work. You're bonded with Marcus. These facts coexist without conflict." "I wish everyone saw it that way," Arya said miserably. "Then make them see it," Zephyr replied. "Andromedians don't hide our bonds. We display them proudly because compatible mates are rare and precious. Stop letting others define your narrative." Her words stuck with